Alright, so it's going to be my review for a movie called Triple Nine. This came out in 2016. It's directed by John Hillcoat, and he directed The Road in 2009 and did Lawless in 2012. I really liked Lawless, so I was definitely interested to see what he would be working on next. He did this last year. It's got a really big cast, but the basic plot line is it's about a group of criminals and then corrupt cops, and they're all kind of working together to pull these heists. So that's the basic plot, and it has, like I mentioned, a really big group of cast members. So some of the big names, Chiwetel Ejiofor is one of the main criminals. He's pretty much in charge of this group of robbers, and with him there's Norman Reedus. He has, I'd say, a little bit of a smaller role. And then his brother comes into play. His brother's played by Aaron Paul, obviously known from Breaking Bad. And then there's another group of kind of corrupt cops that are also involved in these heists. Anthony Mackie is one of those guys. He's pretty recognizable now, especially after all the Marvel movies he's been in. Anthony Mackie, as well as Clifton Collins Jr., is another corrupt cop working with him. And then after a while, we get to learn about Casey Affleck is actually a good cop. He gets into the mix a little bit, and then his older brother, is played by Woody Harrelson. So we have this pretty interesting group of characters, really good actors, and then there's kind of a side plot that we realize why Chiwetel Ejiofor's character is doing all these robberies, and it involves his son being held by his the kid's mom is played by Gal Gadot, who's now Wonder Woman, but then her older sister is played by Kate Winslet, and they're like a Russian mob group, and apparently they have some debts to pay back to them, so that's why all these bank robberies are going on. Anyways, that's kind of the basic plot, a quick rundown of the cast, and I really like this movie. I thought it got some not great reviews when it came out. It doesn't have the highest ratings, but I thought it was really engaging. I thought it was super smart. I think it's pretty tactical if you're really into kind of how the military and kind of cop procedures work, either during like these heists or even later when they're just doing regular police work. I thought it was really well done. Some of the interesting kind of people, Kate Winslet is supposed to be this Russian mob boss. I don't know if that was the greatest role for her. I thought she was kind of miscast. She was a little unrecognizable at first. She's kind of done up very differently from what we normally see her. Pretty much everybody else does a good job. Woody Harrelson is playing kind of a version of like Bad Lieutenant. He's all drugged out and kind of this extreme version of a cop, like either Nick Cage's version of Bad Lieutenant or originally done by Harvey Keitel in the original Bad Lieutenant. He has that kind of thing going on, but he's still good. Other than that, there's like a couple things that were a little obvious, weren't the greatest quote-unquote twists in the movie. But I really liked it. I think it's pretty underrated. It didn't get a lot of buzz or a lot of talk about reviews or anything like that. So I think if you're a fan of any of these kind of main characters, Casey Affleck's always really good. He's good in this. Chiwetel Ejiofor, he was really good in like 12 Years a Slave. Also a really good actor, good here. Good performances throughout. Good direction. Really like John Hillcoat, like I mentioned before. So this is another good entry for him. So when I was watching this movie, a couple of the movie connections that really stood out to me were the movie The Town with, Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner. Very similar to that, kind of this corruption going on with these bank robberies and heists. That was a very clear connection. And then of course you have Heat, which is kind of the epitome of a good cop versus criminal movie involving bank heists. You always got to throw that in there. And there's a little bit of a Training Day. So with the corruption of the cops kind of similar to what Denzel Washington and some of his crew do in the Training Day movie. Those are some of the clearest connections that I saw in this movie. So yeah, definitely recommend it. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5, so a pretty high review. All right, a little bit.